Hey Fusion teachers and leaders, we have another week in our series Characters. Last week we looked at purity, the week before we looked at honor, and this week we're looking at loyalty. And so in this video I just want to walk through with you some ideas about how you should set up the video and then close the video. As I said, this is about loyalty, talking about how God is loyal to us and how He loves to see loyalty in His people. And we have this definition for loyalty, and as you think about what you're going to say about loyalty, I would make sure that you have that definition in your mind. Just like last week, I've got some information about what you can say when you get up there to sort of reintroduce the series. We'd like to remind people where we've been, that we've talked about honor, we've talked about purity. Now we're going to talk about loyalty. We're going to talk about David and Jonathan from the Old Testament and their friendship, and how that friendship is really an example of loyalty. And the video is going to be about Jonathan and sort of his take on the whole thing. This week we want to have the student, whoever you choose, read from 1 Samuel 18, 1 through 4, and then chapter 20, verse 42. It's a lot less verses, so it should go a lot quicker than last week. Make sure you talk to the student beforehand, hopefully before Wednesday. Bring them up on the stage with you so you can go right into the reading. And I'm recommending strongly that you use the Message translation, just because I think it's the best translation for this passage for what we're trying to do. And so I've included it here, and if you want, you could just print this and give it to the student and have them read off that, and because a lot of students probably aren't going to have the Message version of the Bible. As soon as that's done, go right to the video. It's a little under 7 minutes, I think, this week. And then after the video, get up and do your close. And we really want to just drive home the point of loyalty. I'll just say I heard a lot of good things about the closes at every campus. So good job with that, and I want to encourage you to just keep doing that. Keep your close short, keep it quick. But like I said, we want to talk about how the main point is loyalty. And if you want to get a little creative, you could begin with a little story or a little illustration. I was thinking there's two ways you could do this. Before you get into Jonathan and David, you could talk about maybe a pet that you had that was loyal, if you want to do something a little funnier to kind of warm up the students a little bit. Or you could talk about being loyal to a sports team even when they stink. If you're a Cubs fan, you could talk about how the Cubs have never won in your lifetime, but yet you still are loyal to them, you still love them. So that could be kind of entertaining. But at some point, quickly, you want to talk about the loyalty that we see in the way that Jonathan treated David. Talk about how, I think it's going to be important in this week to really make sure the students understand the story, that David was in a difficult situation with Saul, that Saul was Jonathan's dad, and that Jonathan would be the one who would get to become the king once Saul died, except that God had said David would be the king. And so Saul thought, well, the best way I can get around this is by killing David. And so all Jonathan had to do was let Saul do his dirty work for him. But Jonathan was loyal to David, and so he protected David, and he ultimately helped him get rescued, we read in chapter 20. And so he had this unwavering and undivided devotion to someone. He sacrificed for himself in order to be loyal to David. And I've got a verse here that you might want to use. Proverbs 3:3 talks about the importance of loyalty and love, how we should tie them to our neck, we should wear them on our heart, carve them into our heart, and loyalty should be part of who we are as Christians. And you could talk about who should we be loyal to. We should be loyal to friends, we should be loyal to parents, we should be loyal to our families. And that loyalty means keeping commitments, being dependable, being trustworthy, being willing to sacrifice. And I would just say try and think of some ways to make sure the students understand what loyalty is all about. It's about sticking by your friends when times get tough, or when gossip goes about your friends or something, standing by them and not leaving them. And so talk about the importance of being a loyal person, but at some point you want to talk about how really the ultimate loyal person is God, that His loyalty is beyond anything we could ever imagine. And the way we know that is the cross, that God was ultimately loyal to us at the cross. Jesus didn't have to die on the cross. He could have chosen to avoid the cross, but He went to the cross to rescue us, to save us from our sins. And this is one of the reasons why students should trust Jesus for the forgiveness of their sins, because Jesus was loyal to them. And so you can use that as an opportunity to make a call in the gospel. And then for the Christian students, remind them just how God is still loyal to them. He continues to never waver in His devotion to them, and maybe even challenge the Christian students to be loyal, learn to be loyal to Jesus, to follow Him and be committed to Him no matter where they are, at school, wherever. And you can close by praying for the students who need Jesus, and then praying for the Christian students to learn to commit to being loyal to Jesus, who is so loyal to us. So I hope that is helpful for you. Thank you so much for doing this. I think it really adds a neat component to Wednesday nights, and God bless you. If you have any questions, you can email me. Thanks.